understood about the direct reasons for loss of biodiversity. Now we can talk about the indirect loss. Indirect loss can be also counted in two ways. One is habitat loss, and the second one is modification of the habitat. Before I go ahead, I will let you know the technical term habitat. Habitat is a very technical word, which means the place where any plant or animal lives. That is its habitat. So, if the habitat is lost, we have given the example. Now, when we talk about the loss of habitat, if suppose if place is there and it's a deep jungle and we modify it for the benefit of mankind into a say agricultural land or for say for some recreational purpose, you are modifying that area and you are losing the habitat of an animal or a plant which is supposed to live in that particular habitat. I have already given you the example of cheetah. Now there are so many examples. Since this subject is quite dear to me, can give you my own experience. When in old days, say around 45 years back, when I used to go to Mahabaleshwar, the overflow of Venna Lake used to lead into a small, narrow stream, and that stream was exhibiting the presence of one wonderful fern, which was called as Asmunda, which is also called as a royal fern. But since the amount of rainfall reduced and the consistent overflow of the lake stopped, nowadays when we go there, we don't find that particular plant over there, which used to exist over there. Similarly, I have given you the example, best example, that how these animals and plants are linked.
So sad, doctor, that you lost this beautiful fern. But does it still exist or has it got extinct?
It is lost only from that particular place, but it is available in elsewhere, like Pachmadi and Goa, all those such places that do.
It's called the royal fern.
It is not lost totally from our country, but if we continue like that and if we keep on changing the habitat, there is every chance. So you can say it is a vulnerable species.
Doctor, with such a long experience, so many years of experience with trees and with plants, I'm sure you have so many more examples of tree species that you've interacted with and you've seen the decline over the years. So
I can just give you some few more examples. Let's say, for example, there is a plant called Rolfia, to which we in Marathi and Sanskrit called as Sarpagandha. It's a very important plant from medicinal point of view. It used to grow in Western Ghat under the shade of the trees. Since the forest canopy is lost in many places, we have not actually lost, but those plants are not found over there. Now the thing is, it was again heavily collected from nature only
for
medicinal purpose. So that is another reason why the plant is not seen. Similarly, it is interconnected, the habitat loss as well as the collection. So it is not seen. People are collecting those. Now people are actually cultivating that plant for medical point of view. But again, there are certain difference of opinion. The Ayurvedic practitioners say that whatever we collect from nature, those plants have a better efficacy as far as their quality of medicinal property is concerned. But that is a different issue. We need not go into the detail. But that is another example, one example for that plant is not seen nowadays, which we used to see very frequent in the forest. We can have another example, agarwood. Agarwood is a plant which is from the northeast. Actually, it's a tree. When it used to get infested with some fungus, it used to oozes out certain chemicals which emits wonderful aroma. And for that aroma, which was heavily exploited, and that plant is slowly getting rare and rare in the forest. So that's the agarwood story. We can take example of certain animals also, like rhino horn, which is actually not a horn.
Elephant grass, rhino.
Rhino horn, which is actually not a horn, but it's a aggregation of hair.
I read about that.
That
yes.
is also for some purpose, maybe a stupid reason behind it. That is being also, and once you see, that is the defense mechanism for that animal with it. And when you remove that particular structure from his body, in a way you make that animal
weak,
unable to survive, animal
Oh,
or
yes.
weak in the sense as you said. Same example as you said, ivory. For purpose of ivory, the elephant tusks are being removed. There are so many examples of this type which exist.
So, doctor, you've seen all this gradual decline and this change over the years. In your 60 years of being in this field. So, can you tell me exactly what is the reason of this decline? Why are we facing this complete loss as of today?
You know, you have seen the direct, indirect losses. There are some different examples also. As far as the loss of the animals and plants are concerned, see, every living organism has a finite lifespan. It has to vanish after some time. But because of anthropogenic effect, this span has been reduced and it has become very fast. The things which used to take some thousands of years for loss are being lost within few years. So that is the effect of human interference. Now there are some other reasons also for the loss of biodiversity, like introduction of invasive species. We normally don't introduce them um, specifically for some purpose. They get introduced. For example, when we imported wheat from America, certain species of weeds, they got imported along with that wheat, and they are growing in the fields now. And once they start growing, they don't allow anything else to grow because their growth is vigorous. They are very hard in living. They can live in hard conditions, and once they grow there, they don't allow anything else to grow. You can take example of Congress grass, which is called Parthenium, which has come to our country from South America. Similarly, there is a plant called which are invading our wetlands, which is called as water hyacinth.
Yes.
Almost if you go to places where the good water bodies are there, those water bodies are comparatively now covered with this water hyacinth. That creates a lot of problem. Similarly, you can see a plant called Ipomia cornea, commonly called, the name itself indicates it is called as a Besharmi. It grows tremendously and it grows anywhere, and it is almost because of its vigorous growth. We can give you another example of invasive species. This is called Lantana camara, or in Marathi they call Ghaneri.
But I think they're so beautiful, doctor.
They are beautiful. I will tell you another thing. I don't know why they called Ghaneri. It doesn't have a bad smell. I won't say aroma, but it is tolerable. When I say in-situ conservation, I mean the conservation of plants and animals in their natural habitat, where they are growing or where they are located. That is called in-situ conservation. For example, if you want to conserve a plant, we can conserve them in forest, or if you want to conserve animal, we can conserve in the forest itself. There is another way of conserving the biodiversity, what we call as ex-situ conservation. Instead of conserving them in their natural habitat, we can artificially conserve them in two places. Like as far as the plants are conserved, we can conserve them in garden. Especially, we call them as a botanical garden. It is not a garden for amusement or for recreation. It is for the study purpose and for enriching the knowledge purpose. there we can conserve this plant, and that is being done also. Similarly, we can conserve the animals in zoological park, or what
Yes.
we call as a zoo
Or sanctuaries.
or sanctuaries. No, sanctuary will become actually
a protected forest. A protected forest.
that will be in-situ conservation.
Correct.
But conservation. But we can conserve them in say zoological park. Now there are so advanced techniques that we have started even breeding of the animals among the zoo also, giving them the conditions which are conducive for their environment, healthy environment and all that. That has become possible. Similarly, the medicinal plants and other plants we are conserving in botanical gardens, and it's a separate topic by itself.
Yes,
I
I'm
can
sure.
talk a lot about the botanical gardens of India as well as other countries also. Uh, um, there is another example which needs mention here. As far as the India is concerned, to which we will call now as Bharat, from the very beginning, uh, we were the people, we have always given importance to conservation. It is inbuilt in our culture.
Yes, absolutely.
Take example, we don't, I don't call it as a andhashraddha, but there are ways by which to conserve biodiversity. Take example of Ganpati festival. During Ganpati festival, we need about 21 different type of leaves which are being offered to Ganesha.
Yes.
Those 21 leaves were being collected from nature just to offer Ganesha. That was one more source for conserving those plants. Because since we need those 21 plants, we have to grow them.
Yes.
So that was a way by which we used to conserve the biodiversity. Similarly, there is another concept which is getting a lot of popularity, which is known as Nakshtravan. There are 27 nakshatras which we called as a constellations.
Okay.
And every nakshatra plant has something to do with the life of a human being. Suppose if I am growing in a particular nakshatra, and every nakshatra has got its own tree. If I grow that tree,
It has.
in which to that particular nakshatra belong, that is auspicious for me.
Oh, how
So I don't
wonderful.
take it as a say as a taboo or anything, but I take it as a conservation effort. Because of that, we can save those 27 trees,
Of different varieties.
different varieties.
How nice. How interesting.
In those devrais, there used to see, you can see some deity there, in a very
Regular.
scattered shape or something. Now, not a
Great.
diagrammatically even or something like that. Some few stones along with the sendur and all that. There used to be the god of that forest, and people used to have an opinion. If you disturb anything in this forest, like animals or plant, the god is going to be angry on you. So in that effort, those areas were saved, and because those area and biodiversity was saved, because of that, the animals which are living in that forest, they were also saved.
Correct, doctor. And in fact, I also thought of one more example. Now that you know when you were mentioning about Devrai, every deity of Hinduism is also connected with one different animal.
That's true.
Like
That
if you
is one
see-
example, and that is why even in urban areas also we keep on saving certain trees, like say Bilva Patra, that is being offered to Lord Shiva. So we need not go every time to the forest
Correct.
to see that tree. So we grow that tree near Shiva temple. Or there are some more plants which are given to offered to different deities.
Deities.
Tulsi,
Yes.
famous for Krishna and Vishnu. So that is also being grown in the garden. Of this, that our cultural programs are formed in such a way that we keep on conserving biodiversity in different ways. Even in our literature, we say vraksho rakshati vrakshata. Those who save the trees, those trees will save you.
Which
So
is
this
true.
was our culture. So saving up the biodiversity is a not new thing
For us.
as far as the Indian culture is concerned. But this particular topic got prominence in 1972 when this issue was raised in 1972 conference in Rio de Janeiro, where they decided to talk about the biodiversity. For all other people, this concept was new for them. As far as the saving of the biodiversity is concerned, it is not new to our country. That the awareness among the people, that can be the most important concern about conserving the biodiversity, and that awareness should come from the schools level.
So, Doctor,
It should be in the curriculum.
any difference in the awareness level?
Yes,
of students?
definitely. I am very optimistic. There is a tremendous positive approach from people's side. There are NGOs doing a lot of efforts for conservation of biodiversity. They are conducting nature trails, taking people to forest, taking them around the wilderness and all that, teaching about their presence, their activity, their say sort of how they grow, what type of climatic condition they require. And this has made a tremendous change in the mindset of people. But at the same time, I feel that it should come from very tender age. I will give you an example. I was in Assam a few years back, and we saw a beautiful orchid, and some student from our batch, he started to pluck that flower from somebody's house. A small kid about 3 years age started shouting
Oh, I see.
and calling mummy that somebody is plucking flower from our garden. So that this gives a lot of impact. How that it should come
Child
from
is
that.
grown
Yes.
with nature and
Yes.
with the
We have to grow with the nature.
Doctor, this has been such a wonderful and such an enlightening discussion on this whole concept of biodiversity. You've touched upon so many different aspects of it, right from giving us this whole entire wider perspective on what biodiversity is, the importance of it, how India is so blessed with so much of biodiversity, the cultural aspects of it. So it's been so wonderful, and also your deeper personal insights, your personal experiences. And it's just been absolutely marvelous to learn about this. And really thank you for your time, for sharing so many different insights with
Yeah,
us.
before I end, I will just give one example that in continuation with that we conserve biodiversity from the ancient time. During the regime of Emperor Ashoka, that is somewhere 3300 BC, the emperor has ordered that no creature should be destroyed. So we can say this is being the motto of our culture.
So, Doctor, thank you so much. Even while signing off, as you can see, Doctor is such a wealth of knowledge. There's so much more to learn from him. There's so much that he has to share. But of course, there's so much more time for that. And please do catch us in the upcoming videos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been a really unique and wonderful video with Dr. Latto, and he's given us so many amazing insights on biodiversity. So tell us how you like the video in the comments below, and of course subscribe to our channel. For more information on biodiversity, please find links in the description box below.